A lot of success, so far this year, and certainly a handful inside, but just pleased with the way our kids came out and responded. It's a difficult style to play against, so just really a grinded out game, and just proud of our kids finding a way to win.
Well, it did seem like you took your strength right back at them, because a lot of your points came from the paint too.
Yeah, I thought Sarah was outstanding. I thought Lainey was outstanding inside, really on both ends of the floor. And I thought they did a great job. Obviously, scored some points. Sarah finishes with 14, but just their defensive effort on a Furdig I thought was outstanding, and we felt like that was going to be probably one of the biggest keys coming in. So to hold her, it's hard to think that you held somebody when they have a double-double, but considering what she's been doing to other teams, I thought it was a really great effort.
Well, you mentioned some of the success that they've had, and it's a treat sometimes when you get a non-conference game against a team that they gave Drake all they wanted. Obviously, that's a team that is a rival for you guys every year in the Valley. So not that you necessarily take, we probably read more into those common matchups than we should, but you probably, I'm sure, broke down that game against Drake. And what does it mean for your team to come out and execute the way they did tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I think more than anything, coming in, it's a little bit easier to get your kids' attention when they've just beaten UVA and when they've just beaten Drake, teams that you're somewhat familiar with. So not that we really needed anything to get our kids' attention. I think, coming from the past tournament that we were just in, certainly we wanted to put ourselves in a position to right the ship and get things back on track. So, but it does. It's hard to compare scores. It's hard to compare games. But I think more than anything, our kids knew this was a really good Wyoming team coming in, and so they can feel really, really good about how we performed. And it was great to be back in our home arena.
Talk about the sequence there in the third quarter where they kind of came out storming a little bit. They scored the last 4 in the first half, extended that run a little bit to begin the second half, and then it was just Lithicum and Beckmeyer just kind of punch it back and really hitting some big shots.
Yeah, they obviously went on a run, and at some point you figure, every good team is going to have a run. It went a little longer than I would have liked, and we'd built a lead, so for them to really kind of chip into it like they did certainly wasn't ideal, especially at that point in the game. But Cayman's continued to come in big for us. I mean, she's been outstanding, and then I thought the pick and roll was really good for us. We were able to find some baskets hitting Sarah on the roll and things like that. But I think more than anything too, I thought we did a really good job on the boards. Cayman came in and really rebounded. I think Lacey finishes with 8 rebounds. So I thought we did a good job, attacking the glass. Cayman finishes with 8 rebounds. So just I think our effort on the boards. Kira had 7. We felt like that was going to be huge for us tonight.
Well, Lacey leads your team in defensive rebounds. What makes her so effective? Being with all those tall trees down low.
She's just got a nose for the ball, and I think she just has that attack mentality, and just she goes and gets it. We've talked a lot about, wanting, a lot of times you hear people saying, let's win the 50-50 balls. Like, point of emphasis has not been let's 50-50 balls. Let's make it clear cut, like it's 0 and 100. Like we got to go get those. And so I think she's really kind of led the charge in that regard. You see the smallest kid on the floor going out there and coming away with rebounds. I mean, especially how she rebounded, how we all rebounded in the past tournament. So, we're playing 4 guards, so we're a little bit undersized at times, but the way that they've been rebounding, I think we can afford to play the 4 guards.
And then, obviously, what you do expect to see from a point guard like Lacey is 8 assists, but every single player that hit the floor tonight for the Lady Bears had an assist. I'm sure that's something that makes you proud.
Yeah, no question. Lacey almost has a triple-double, a few short in that category. I mean, just an outstanding, really efficient line. But just across the board, to see everybody have at least 1 assist and just a positive assist-to-turnover ratio. I think it's what you try to recruit as kids that are willing to make the right plays, that are unselfish, willing to share the ball, and, then kids stepping up and knocking shots down. So would have liked to have gotten the turnovers down a little bit more and the assists up, but we'll certainly be happy with 16 and 10.
Just 2 more from me. You mentioned Lainey, at the beginning. It seemed 11 minutes, 6 points though, and they seemed like they were baskets that were pivotal. They kind of came at important moments in the game.
Yeah, I think honestly, I was kind of surprised when I looked at the stat sheet and it was 11 minutes, because I felt like, typically you think, okay, it's not a ton of minutes, but her minutes were really impactful, and it seemed like, or I know when she was out there, she really impacted the game. So obviously hampered a little bit by the foul trouble, which probably cut into her minutes, or which did cut into her minutes a little bit. But I thought she was outstanding. So just continues to improve, gain a lot of confidence, and she's going against some really good players on the interior in a lot of our last games. So it's really positive to see her growth, and I think more than anything, just her continue to build her confidence.
And then what's the message to the team as conference play is approaching here? What do you want to fine-tune in your game before we start playing conference games?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things, that as a coach you want to try to fix on both ends of the floor. Not so much fix, but just really address and try to get better in certain areas. I think probably one of the biggest things that this game has helped us with is just different styles of play. This style was so different than what we've been playing against. I mean, you look at the games in the tournament in the Virgin Islands, you look at SLU, Wichita State, I can kind of go down the line of our schedule, and they've all been so much of a man-to-man, full-court pressure, phenomenal athletes, a lot of length, just really a pressure, full court style of play. And so for us to come in tonight, probably my biggest concern was how we're going to adjust to this style of play, because it's so different from what we've been playing against. And I think more than anything, heading into conference play, these next few games will just help us with learning how to play and attack different styles compared to what we've had, in this first half.